The year is 1824. The world is a tapestry of sprawling fields, quiet villages, and bustling port towns. Horse-drawn carriages navigate dirt roads. The clang of the blacksmith's hammer and the scent of wood smoke fill the air. This is a world on the cusp of transformation, a world our subject knows intimately. Born in the heart of this era, our protagonist is a man untouched by the passage of time. While the world around him ages, he remains, year after year, decade after decade, seemingly untouched by the relentless march of time. His is a life intertwined with the very fabric of history, a silent observer to the triumphs and tragedies of humanity. His story is not one of myth or legend, but a grounded narrative woven from the threads of extraordinary circumstance. He is a living chronicle, a repository of memories spanning centuries, a witness to the birth of modern civilization and the dramatic reshaping of the world as we know it. The rumble of progress soon disrupts the tranquility of the early 19th century. The Industrial Revolution emerges, a mechanical symphony of hissing steam and whirring gears. Towering factories rise, drawing people from the countryside to the burgeoning cities. The air, once crisp and clean, grows heavy with the scent of coal smoke. Our protagonist observes this transformation with a mixture of awe and apprehension. He witnesses firsthand the wonders of innovation, the steam engine, the telegraph, the photograph. Each invention a marvel that reshapes the world in its wake. Yet he also sees the darker side of progress. He sees the plight of the working class, the exploitation of labor, the squalor of industrial slums. The chasm between rich and poor widens, a stark reminder of the uneven distribution of progress. His heart grows heavy with the knowledge that every leap forward for humanity seems to come at a cost. The 20th century dawns, a century destined to be shaped by conflict and upheaval. The world plunges into the chaos of 2 world wars, conflicts of unprecedented scale and devastation. Our protagonist, a silent observer to the horrors unfolding around him, sees the best and worst of humanity. He witnesses the trenches of World War I, the mud and blood, the senseless loss of life. He sees the rise of totalitarian regimes, the horrors of the Holocaust, the mushroom cloud over Hiroshima, stark reminders of the destructive capacity within mankind. Yet, even amidst the darkness, he sees flickers of hope. He sees the bravery of soldiers on the front lines, the compassion of nurses tending to the wounded, the resilience of ordinary people facing extraordinary circumstances. He sees the world unite against tyranny, the birth of international cooperation, the slow and arduous climb from the ashes of war. Through it all, our protagonist remains unchanged, a constant in a world of perpetual flux. He carries the weight of his experiences, the memories of centuries etched into his very being. His is a unique perspective, one shaped by the ebb and flow of history. The gift of time is also a burden. He witnesses the loss of loved ones, the pain of separation, the transient nature of human connection. He sees the world change around him, the familiar replaced by the new, the old ways fading into obscurity. Yet he also recognizes the enduring spirit of humanity. He sees the cycle of life and death, the rise and fall of civilizations, the enduring power of hope and resilience. His journey is a testament to the indomitable spirit of mankind, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, there is always the potential for growth, change, and progress. The early 19th century was a time of profound transformation. Our protagonist, born into agrarian rhythms, was swept up in innovation. The air now echoed with the hiss of steam and clang of machinery. He walked London's cobblestone streets as steam carriages debuted. These mechanical beasts filled him with wonder and unease. Progress felt exhilarating and unstoppable. Railways rapidly expanded, connecting towns and cities. The world was shrinking, distances compressed by steam. He rode early trains feeling exhilaration and trepidation. Factories rose, their chimneys spewing black smoke. Inside, a symphony of noise and motion greeted him. It was awe-inspiring and unsettling, a testament to human ingenuity. With each passing decade, the pace of change accelerated. New inventions, each more wondrous and unsettling than the last, emerged with astonishing regularity. Our protagonist, a keen observer of this unfolding technological revolution, found himself both captivated and overwhelmed by the sheer scale of human ingenuity. The telegraph, a marvel of its age, shattered the barriers of distance, allowing messages to travel across continents in mere minutes. He marveled at the clicking of the machines, the coded messages transmitted through wires, the very fabric of communication irrevocably altered. The world, once a tapestry of isolated communities, was becoming increasingly interconnected, bound together by an invisible web of information. The invention of the photograph, a way to capture fleeting moments in time, filled him with a sense of wonder. He watched as photographers, shrouded in black cloths, preserved images on silver-coated plates, creating lasting impressions of a rapidly changing world. He saw the potential for this new art form to document history, to capture the faces and stories of generations past and present. He witnessed the rise of electricity, a mysterious force that illuminated the night, powered machines, and transformed the very fabric of daily life. He watched in awe as cities, once shrouded in darkness after sunset, came alive with the glow of electric lights, casting an ethereal glow upon the bustling streets below. The world, once governed by the rhythms of sunrise and sunset, was entering a new era, one where night could be banished by the flick of a switch. The Industrial Revolution brought profound societal and technological changes. Our protagonist witnessed the benefits and challenges of this new age. Traditional structures were challenged by progress. People migrated to industrial centers seeking work and opportunity. Cities grew, marked by both industry and social unrest. The old agricultural ways faded, replaced by urban industry. Society grappled with rapid change and growing pains. The gap between wealthy industrialists and the working class widened. Labor movements rose, demanding better conditions and wages. Women and children entered the workforce, changing family dynamics. New social classes emerged, blurring traditional boundaries. Rigid social structures became more fluid, driven by economic and technological change. The 20th century dawned, a stark contrast to the optimistic progress of the Victorian era. The air, once thick with the promise of industry and invention, now crackled with tension. Our protagonist faced the darker side of human nature, the insatiable hunger for power. The rumblings of discontent erupted with the force of a volcano. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand set in motion a chain reaction. The old empires teetered on the brink of collapse. Nations of Europe marched inexorably towards the abyss. Declarations of war carried a chilling weight. The world, connected by technology, was torn apart by nationalism and imperialism. He walked Vienna's cobblestone streets, witnessing young men rushing to enlist. The air buzzed with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The world held its breath, poised on the precipice of conflict. The outbreak of World War I shattered the illusion of peace and progress. The world descended into a maelstrom of violence and despair. Our protagonist, a silent observer, found himself caught in the conflict. He traveled to France, now scarred by trenches and barbed wire. The air echoed with artillery fire and the cries of the wounded. The scale of the carnage was unlike anything he had ever witnessed. He saw young soldiers, their eyes filled with fear and disillusionment. He heard their stories of bravery, sacrifice, and camaraderie. He felt the weight of their collective grief and loss. He witnessed new technologies of death tanks, airplanes, and poison gas. The world recoiled in horror at its destructive potential. Progress had come at a terrible price. The armistice of 1918 brought an end to the fighting, but the world that emerged from the ashes of World War I was forever changed. The old empires lay in ruins, their power and prestige shattered. Millions lay dead, their lives cut short by the senseless violence. The air, once thick with the sounds of battle, now carried the weight of grief, disillusionment, and uncertainty. Our protagonist, having witnessed the horrors of the Great War, now bore witness to the fragile peace that followed. He traveled through a world struggling to come to terms with the trauma it had endured. The scars of conflict were everywhere. In the ruined cities, the shattered economies, the broken bodies and minds of those who had served. He saw the rise of new ideologies, communism in Russia, fascism in Italy and Germany, each promising a path to national rejuvenation, a way to restore order to a world teetering on the brink of chaos. He felt the undercurrents of unrest, the simmering resentment, the yearning for a return to normalcy that seemed frustratingly out of reach. He watched as the world, still reeling from the horrors it had witnessed, stumbled towards an uncertain future. The Treaty of Versailles, intended to prevent future conflicts, instead sowed the seeds of resentment and instability. The global economy, shattered by war, struggled to recover. The old order had been swept away, but the new one remained elusive, its contours yet to be defined. Despite the devastation and uncertainty that followed World War I, our protagonist recognized the seeds of change taking root. The world, though scarred, was infused with a new spirit of innovation. The Roaring Twenties offered a glimpse of a world eager to embrace modernity. He saw flapper dresses and heard jazz music, witnessing a generation attempting to dance away the horrors of the past. He marveled at the technological advancements, the radio, the automobile, the airplane, innovations that promised to connect people and transform the world in unprecedented ways. He saw the rise of new social movements, women demanding the right to vote, workers fighting for better conditions, minorities challenging the status quo. The old world, with its rigid hierarchies and entrenched inequalities, was being challenged from all sides. The seeds of change, sown in the aftermath of unimaginable destruction, were beginning to sprout, yet he also sensed the fragility of this newfound optimism. The global economy, built on shaky foundations, was teetering on the brink of collapse. The rise of extremist ideologies in Europe cast a long shadow over the future. The world, it seemed, was poised on a knife's edge, caught between the promise of progress and the spectre of further conflict. The question remained, would humanity learn from the mistakes of the past, or was it doomed to repeat them? The world emerged from the wreckage of World War II. Gone were the carefree days of the Jazz Age. A somber silence settled over the globe. Our protagonist observed this post-war world with a heavy heart. He had seen the horrors of the Holocaust, yet he had also witnessed extraordinary acts of courage. He walked among the rubble-strewn streets of Berlin. The air carried a palpable tension, yet he saw the indomitable spirit of humanity. He saw families reunited after years of separation. He witnessed communities coming together. He saw children playing amidst the ruins, a reminder that life finds a way to flourish. As the world rebuilt, new tensions emerged, casting long shadows over the fragile peace. The wartime alliance fractured, replaced by suspicion and an ideological struggle defining the next half-century. The Cold War, fought in espionage, propaganda, and nuclear threat, cast a pall over the globe. The Berlin Wall, a stark manifestation of the ideological divide, cleaved Europe in two. Proxy wars in Korea and Vietnam, fueled by Cold War rivalries, devastated lives. Technology promised progress but threatened humanity itself. Amidst the anxieties of the Cold War, a spirit of change, a yearning for something more, began to stir. The 1960s dawned, a decade of profound cultural and social upheaval, a time when the old order was challenged and the seeds of a new world were sown. Our protagonist, having witnessed centuries of societal evolution, observed this period of transformation with a mix of curiosity and cautious optimism. He saw the civil rights movement gain momentum in the United States, led by courageous individuals like Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks, who challenged segregation and fought for equality. He witnessed the struggle for civil liberties, the fight against discrimination. the growing demand for a more just and equitable society. He felt the pulse of the counterculture movement, a generation rejecting the materialism and conformity of the post-war era, embracing new ideas, experimenting with art, music, and alternative lifestyles. He heard the music of Bob Dylan and Jimi Hendrix, anthems of rebellion and a search for meaning in a rapidly changing world. He saw the rise of the feminist movement, women demanding equal rights and opportunities, challenging traditional gender roles and reshaping the social fabric. He witnessed the burgeoning environmental movement, a growing awareness of the interconnectedness of all living things, and the need to protect the planet for future generations. The world, it seemed, was awakening, questioning old assumptions and demanding something more. The latter half of the 20th century witnessed a different kind of revolution, marked by the quiet hum of computers and the hiss of static from a television screen. Our protagonist marveled at the steam engine and the telegraph, now in a world of rapid technological advances. He remembered watching Neil Armstrong's first steps on the moon in 1969. This event symbolized human ingenuity and boundless possibilities. He walked the halls of early computer labs, witnessing the evolution of technology. From room-sized machines to the birth of the internet, the digital revolution reshaped the world. Driven by microchips and algorithms, it promised to democratize information and break down barriers. The closing decades of the 20th century witnessed the rapid evolution of the digital landscape. The internet, once a niche technology, exploded into the mainstream, connecting people across continents, cultures, and time zones. He marveled at the shrinking of distance, the ability to communicate with loved ones across the globe in real time. He embraced the new avenues for knowledge and connection, exploring distant cultures and engaging in debates. He saw the rise of personal computers, sleek devices that found their way into homes, offices, and pockets. As the 21st century dawned, the world had become a vastly different place than the one our protagonist had known at the start of his long life. Globalization, fueled by technological advancements and the interconnectedness of the digital age, accelerated at an unprecedented pace. The world was shrinking, its diverse cultures and economies increasingly intertwined for better or for worse. He traveled to distant lands, once considered exotic and remote, now easily accessible by air travel and instantaneous communication. He observed the rise of global trade, the flow of goods and services across borders, the interconnectedness of economies, and the challenges posed by a globalized workforce. He witnessed the rise of multinational corporations, their influence transcending national boundaries, their decisions impacting the lives of millions. He saw the benefits of globalization, the spread of knowledge and technology, the potential for economic growth and improved living standards for many. He also observed the downsides, the exploitation of workers in developing countries, the environmental impact of global trade, the homogenization of cultures, and the potential for economic inequality to widen. The world was becoming increasingly interconnected, but the benefits of this interconnectedness were not always shared equally. As technology advanced, our protagonist grappled with unforeseen consequences. The tools that promised connection also presented new challenges and ethical dilemmas. He observed the rise of AI and pondered its implications. The world stood at a crossroads, shaped by its own technologies. Would humanity harness progress for good or succumb to its consequences? The 21st century marked a shift towards individual expression and identity. The internet empowered people to share their stories globally. Social media became a powerful tool for self-expression. Bloggers, vloggers, and influencers rose in the digital landscape. Diversity in culture, ethnicity, and identity gained acceptance. The digital age ushered in a cacophony of voices, a chorus of perspectives from every corner of the globe. Our protagonist, accustomed to the more controlled flow of information in the past, now found himself navigating a world awash in data, opinions, and often contradictory narratives. It was a time of both great promise and potential peril. He observed the democratization of information, the ability for anyone with an internet connection to access knowledge and share their views with the world. He saw citizen journalists reporting from conflict zones, activists using social media to organize protests, ordinary people sharing their stories of resilience and hope. The traditional gatekeepers of information were losing their grip, replaced by a more decentralized and participatory media landscape. He also witnessed the proliferation of misinformation, propaganda and hate speech, the dark undercurrents of a world where anyone could publish anything without accountability. He saw the rise of fake news, deliberately fabricated stories designed to mislead and sow discord, exploiting the very technologies that promise to connect and inform. He observed the increasing polarization of society as individuals retreated into their echo chambers, reinforcing their existing biases and demonizing those with opposing views. The ability to engage in meaningful dialogue, to bridge divides and find common ground seemed increasingly elusive in a world where algorithms prioritized engagement over accuracy and outrage over reason. The term global village, coined in the 1960s, took on a new resonance in the 21st century. Our protagonist, having witnessed the world shrink through technological advancements, observed both the unifying and divisive forces at play in this increasingly interconnected world. He saw the rise of global movements fueled by social media and a shared sense of purpose, addressing issues that transcended national borders. He witnessed the mobilization of young people demanding action on climate change, the #MeToo movement calling out sexual harassment and abuse, the Black Lives Matter movement protesting racial injustice and police brutality. He also observed the resurgence of nationalism, populism and xenophobia, fueled by economic anxieties, cultural insecurities, and a backlash against globalization. He saw the rise of authoritarian leaders exploiting fears and divisions, promoting isolationist policies, and undermining international cooperation. He witnessed the growing gap between the haves and the have-nots, both within and between countries, fueled by automation, globalization, and economic policies that favored the wealthy. He saw the displacement of workers, the erosion of the middle class, and the growing resentment towards elites, fueling social unrest and political instability. He observed the challenges of governing a global village, of finding common ground on issues like climate change, migration, and cybersecurity, in a world where national interests often clashed with the need for collective action. Standing at the cusp of the mid-21st century, our protagonist felt the fragility of the world. Technologies brought humanity closer but posed existential threats. Climate change accelerated, glaciers melted, sea levels rose, communities were displaced, biodiversity lost. Nuclear threats, terrorism and cyber warfare loomed. Trust in institutions eroded, misinformation spread, yet hope persisted. Human resilience and innovation shone through. Awareness of interconnectedness grew, the future remained unwritten, progress was not inevitable, peace was fragile. As our journey with the immortal witness ends, we reflect on humanity's profound tapestry. From pre-industrial rhythms to the digital age's pace, humanity's capacity for creation and destruction, love and violence, remains a testament to the enduring spirit. Our protagonist has seen empires rise and fall, technological marvels and human emotions. His experiences remind us of history's cyclical nature, progress's ebb and flow, and the timeless challenges shaping humanity. He has learned progress is not linear, but a winding road of triumphs and setbacks. Innovation blossoms into advancement, followed by unforeseen challenges. Power can corrupt, leading to conflict and suffering. Yet, he sees humanity's essential goodness, acts of courage and compassion, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. He has seen love, family bonds, and community strength, the enduring spirit of humanity.
What?
Looking back over the centuries, it is impossible to ignore the profound impact of human actions on the planet. From the Industrial Revolution to the digital age, our species has left an indelible mark on Earth. The Immortal Witness carries a unique perspective on the legacy we leave behind. He has seen the power of human ingenuity and the dark side of progress. True progress must consider the well-being of the planet and equitable resource distribution. As our time with the Immortal Witness ends, we are left in awe of history's grand sweep. The intricate tapestry of human experience is woven from threads of triumph, tragedy, love, and loss. The journey is marked by darkness and brilliance, reflecting human complexities. The future remains unwritten. Our choices today shape tomorrow's history. Will we learn from past mistakes or repeat them? Will technology save us or lead to our undoing? These questions weigh on the Immortal Witness and us all. His lessons offer a roadmap for a just, sustainable future. He has seen the dangers of unchecked ambition, the importance of empathy and compassion, and the need for global cooperation. True progress demands a shift in values and stewardship of our planet. The Immortal Witness leaves us with hope, reminding us that amidst chaos, the human spirit endures. It is a spirit of love, resilience, and creativity. Nurtured by wisdom and compassion, it can create a brighter future.